Hi guys! Welcome to my YouTube channel. At ngayon, meron tayong bago na isip na i-vlog ko yung pag-workout, of course. So, meron tayong gagayahin na i-workout natin, of course. Sa camera ko yun, kita nyo yun. Yun o, yung pang ano natin. After, ba, after mag-workout, kailangan natin gagamitin yung bilog na yun. Ito siya yun. Ito yon. Ito yung in-order ng ate ko sa Lazada. Yan. Kakarating lang kanina. Ginabi na. Okay, so mag-i-start tayo haba. Mag-i-start na tayo. So, hintayin ko lang. Wait.
Bringing you today's lower body wreckage workout. It sounds intimidating. It will be hard, but I promise it's going to be worth it.
So, mag-i-start na tayo. Pa-play ko na tong video na gagayahin ko.
We're going to isolate just the legs today, so if you're sore anywhere else, this is a good workout to include in your regular routine. For this warm-up portion, I want you to start down on your mat. We're going to do a little bit of what's called glute and hip activation. The glutes make up a lot of muscle surface area in the lower body. It's important to get those guys activated and fired up before any lower body day. I want you to start right here in what's called a single leg glute bridge. From here, you're going to lift your hips off the ground, squeeze, lower, slow. Stay on one side. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. As always, the squeeze is some of the most important part of any exercise. It's not all about the range of motion. It's also about the squeeze or muscular contraction that coincides with that range of motion. So we're isolating one glute here. In this case, it's my left glute. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. You can keep this leg fully extended and try to relax it for the most part. One thing here, drive through the heel of whatever side you're lifting on. So it's my left leg here. I'm driving through my left heel to lift my hips as high as possible. Get two more on this side, one more on this side, and relax. Now we're going to switch to the same exact thing on the opposite side. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. This time I'm on my right glute here. That's where I should be feeling the burn. Once again, an important part of any lower body warm-up is activating the muscle. That just makes the muscles participate in your movement a little bit more effectively. In this case, it also helps take some of the stress and strain out of those knees continuously here. With these glute bridges, single leg, obviously, give me two more on this side, one more on this side, and relax. Back to that original leg one more time. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. Try to get as much range of motion out of each one of these glute bridges as possible. You can rest for a brief pause at the bottom, but try not to allow any more than just a second or two of rest down here. Lift, squeeze. Also, one more thing. Try to tuck that tailbone up underneath you as you reach the top end of this movement. So right about here, tuck that tailbone. Give me one more. Relax. Switch. Same thing on the opposite side. You might also feel a little bit of residual burning in those hamstrings. It's good to get those hamstrings nice and loose and warmed up as well. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. We're going to finish up this second side before moving on to our next variation of glute bridges here. Give me three more. Middle tailbone tuck. Two more. Middle tailbone tuck. Last one. Middle tailbone tuck. And relax. From there, kick it out a little bit. Stretch out those hamstrings and some of those muscles that we just got nice and warm and loose. Got a couple more reps on each side. Should feel a nice little stretch in each hamstring. Now we're going to bring it into what are called frog pumps. From here, my feet are together and my knees are externally rotated a little bit. You can do these with a band if you have one at home, but you definitely don't need one. My knees are out, my feet are in. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. Another great way to isolate the booty, get it nice and activated and warmed up before we get the rest of our leg workout. Try to maximize the distance that your hips and tailbone come up off of that mat. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. If you want to add a little extra credit here, what you could do is add a little pause at the top. Add a little pause at the top. We are going to include an isometric pause here for about 15 seconds. And three more reps, two more reps, Last one. And now hold it up there, squeeze, keep those knees out, press away from the floor, drive through the feet and mostly the heels. Hold, hold, hold. Give me 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. You can roll the knees right and left. Keep that back nice and loose. Give it a couple more kicks with those legs to open up those hamstrings, stretch them out a little bit. Most people are really tight back here in those hamstrings. Over the course of today's workout, we are going to include a couple different periods of some active rest to get a little bit of extra range of motion. Back to those frog pumps, those glute bridge frog pumps. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. Lift, squeeze, lower, slow. Rinse and repeat here. We're going to try to go one more round, one more time before we bring it up to our feet and start the rest of our workout. Again, feeling the burning all through the glutes and the hamstrings. Most people aren't quite as strong back there as they need to be, so this is a great supplemental exercise to really get stronger in both muscle groups here. Give me 2 more reps, 1 more rep, and pause and hold for 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, keep holding, 9, hold and squeeze at the same time, final 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. If you feel a little burning in your lower back, that's not a bad thing. Something you can do for that, though, is just to limit the range of motion a little bit more and focus on the squeeze of those glutes. Roll those knees side to side and windshield wiper, as we call it. One more time, throw those legs up in the air. Alternate, kicking those feet up to kind of help lengthen those stubborn hamstrings. Last few reps here on the floor. And then nice and easy, bring it up to your feet. Our next couple exercises are going to be in a standing position. We're going to alternate between squats and a lateral bound movement. We're going to cross over the feet. I'll sneak in a squat a little bit better, especially if you have knee pain or problems. Try sitting down on a bench or a stool or a chair or whatever you have. That'll encourage you to keep your hips back and your glutes working a little bit harder so that your knees don't have to. The rest of us, just continuously drop into those squats. Push your hips back, stand up and squeeze. Stand up and squeeze. And when I say squeeze, I just mean squeeze those glutes, right? It's one of the biggest muscles in the human body. We definitely got to work it, especially on leg day. Nice, smooth, continuous range of motion. One thing too, if it feels like you can't go very low, widen the feet out, turn the toes out a little bit more, and you should be able to reach a little bit more depth. Our goal is to get to parallel or even just past parallel. I mean, to here, or even a little bit more agile and athletic in the lateral plane, side to side. Land nice and soft. Try to keep it continuous. I'm almost crossing that back foot behind the standing foot as I go through this range of motion. You'll notice you're going to feel this burn a little bit, and hip do all the work here so that your knee doesn't have to on either your front or your back leg. Try to drop it all the way to the floor. Back there, last 2. Landing soft. Last 1. Nice. Bring it back up. Now we're going to go lateral in a lateral lunge. I'll face you so you can see. You can either reach and touch.
Thank you guys for my vlog. Bye!